Largest, most cosmopolitan of Canadian cities, Montreal is a major link in the global transportation network and headquarters for the world's most complete travel system. Nerve center for the Canadian Pacific Railway's widespread operations on land, at sea, and in the air is vast and vaulted Windsor Station, terminus of the world's first transcontinental railway, the oldest route, the newest trains. The Canadian stainless steel streamliner, first dome-equipped train in Canada, is the shining symbol of a new era of travel comfort and pleasure within the borders of Canada. Step aboard for a preview visit. See how the Canadian lives up to every promise of luxury with economy. Wide picture windows line each coach. Comfortable sponge rubber upholstery invites relaxation in spacious living room atmosphere. There's room to roam in generous aisles, and room to stretch out in private ease. Each reclining seat is adjustable and has a full-length leg rest. Nothing has been overlooked in making the Canadian a complete little world for the traveler. Would a snack, refreshments, or a light lunch hit the spot? That's what the Skyline Coffee Shop is there for. Gay with colorful linoleum carvings of Canadian scenes, the Skyline Scenic Dome coach is a handy, pleasant spot. In the informal tone of a smart holiday resort, in the Skyline and everywhere aboard the Canadian, unique and artistic decoration enhances the bright mood of a travel adventure. Soft music enchants the ear. Perhaps more formal dining fits in with your desires. Well, nothing has been overlooked on the Canadian. Snow-white linen and gleaming silver sparkle under a star-studded ceiling in the cleverly decorated dining room car. An attentive steward, deft and courteous waiters seem to anticipate your unspoken wish and whisk it to fulfillment. Smart supper clubs on wheels. That's as apt a description as any for these dining room cars with a difference. But that's only part of the mealtime story. Of course, behind the scenes, the shining kitchen holds the twin keys to sheer dining pleasure, the finest food and the skilled hands of the best of cooks, the choicest cuts, the freshest fish, the most prized delicacies for any palate, distinctive Canadian dishes. Could appetite ask for more? A delicious dinner is not necessarily the end of a pleasant day. Perhaps it is the beginning of a pleasant evening. The club-like decor of the Mural Lounge, each with its mural by an outstanding Canadian artist, is an invitation to friendly conversation with new acquaintance or with tried and true traveling companion. Sharing the same scenic dome car with the Mural Lounge is the main lounge with free-moving easy chairs, deep carpeted floor, beautifully draped picture windows that give a front row view of all outdoors, where the scenic splendors of a continent glide by in passing show. Topside from your seat in the high-level scenic dome awaits an even more spectacular view of the kaleidoscope of color in motion that features every transcontinental trip by the Canadian. No other vantage point compares for a close-up look at the fabulous panorama that is Canada, spread out like a map before your eyes. The route of the Canadian is not new. It was the route of the earliest explorers and is the route of adventure still. Your travel adventure begins at Windsor Station in Montreal, aboard this newest train, with all space, even coach seats, individually reserved. Early reservation is the only requirement for those who want to enjoy the greatest experience railway travel can offer. Once aboard, passengers settle into the roomy quarters with guaranteed privacy and comfort. Less than 3 days away lie Vancouver and Canada's west coast. In between, the prospect of easy, fun-filled days, superb meals, restful nights, and continually changing scenic beauty. The The announcement, "All aboard," and the silently closing door are enough to send a shiver of anticipation through the most experienced traveler. Almost 3,000 miles of track ahead, 3 times 3,000 sights to see. Marquette set out for the west on this same path. LaSalle, too, and Radisson, Champlain, Mackenzie, Fraser, and Joliet followed the parallel river road with the sun. All of them saw the glories of the New World, but not like this. They beat a path across a wilderness, not seeing or even foreseeing the Canada that lies now between Atlantic and Pacific tides. Only 2 hours out of Montreal, the Canadian glides beside the historic Rideau Canal into Ottawa, Canada's capital. Dominated on the high bluff above the river by the reaching spires of the nation's parliament. Quickly the scene changes as the Canadian crosses the Ottawa River and prepares to make its long reach up the beautiful timber valley that leads into Ontario's Northland. Now the miles roll smoothly and silently by. Now, too, something unusual is taking place. In Toronto, far to the south and about 300 miles west of Montreal, another train, also the Canadian and also bound for Vancouver, is gathering its passengers and getting ready to roll. Here again, the same ultra-modern equipment, the luxurious dining room cars, the cozy bedrooms, the gaily decorated lounges, and, commanding a view of all that passes, the same spectacular scenic domes with windows that turn the whole outdoors into one constant but constantly changing display. Through every inch of its length, from the quiet of the Dome Lounge observation car to the powerfully humming diesels way up front, the Canadian is tailored for efficiency, safety, comfort. By now, the train is home to everyone aboard. The friendly porter has become a familiar face. The cheery call to dinner promises a welcome treat. The setting sun heralds a restful night, prelude to a new, exciting day. Sure enough, morning finds that the untiring scene shifters for the transcontinental stage have brought up an entirely new backdrop. Twisting, winding, weaving along the fantastic rugged north shore of Lake Superior, the Canadian snakes its way over some of the hardest-won trackage in the world and past some of the world's most mushrooming industrial development. Lumber towns, pulp mills, mines, whole new settlements that have blossomed in one short decade provide an insight into Canada's growth, the growth that demands the kind of transportation progress that the Canadian exemplifies. Through tunnels, over bridges, along the rocky coast of the world's largest lake system, travelers are enthralled by the vastness, the variety, the sheer quantity of nature's loveliness. Gliding around the wide arc of Jackfish Curve, the Canadian adds its own sweeping line of functional beauty to the scenic dome's field of vision. And then, seemingly in the heart of nowhere, up springs a modern station. A reminder, as is the brand new paper mill in the distance, that Canada's booming progress is more than city deep.